So hello and yes, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be going over the John Lennon vinyl box set. So yes, hello and welcome back to another video, guys. Now then, it's been a while since I've done a video. This is generally my quieter week, schedule-wise. Last week I didn't have time to do many videos, unfortunately, but I got the one up. So I thought I'd come back today with a bit more of a happier, fun video than the last one, which was, of course, on the sad passing of David Bowie. So yeah, I wanted to come back today with something a bit more fun. And I just got this on Amazon about 4 or 5 days back, so I'm really excited to finally be doing a video showing the John Lennon vinyl box set. Now, the John Lennon vinyl box for me really wasn't a it wasn't a priority until I realised I started to play my Lennon records, some of my originals here. I was like, some of these just don't sound great. So I was thinking, okay, well, how, what can I do about this? Is there nicer pressings out there? And then, of course, I found out this box was coming out. And I was like, that is going to be amazing. I mean, I think this box was so needed for Lennon's career just because of sound quality wise. Now and then, the box itself, appearance wise, looks very similar. In fact, it's identical to, of course, the Lennon CD box set, which you've got here. So I've gone with a very plain design on this. Very catchy though, I must say, I like it. But then, of course, they've done the exact same thing with the vinyl box. And so anyway, what we'll do is we'll just go over the packaging, we'll go over the box now, I'll show you each of the records individually. So, pretty much same spine, very small there how they writ Lennon. They could have blown that up a bit. But then on the back, you get all of the 8 albums which this includes, and then you get track listing. And then the records slide out like so. There's nothing on the top. At the bottom you get a barcode. So anyway, this box includes Plastic Ono Band, Imagine, Sometime in New York City, Mind Games, Walls and Bridges, Rock and Roll, Double Fantasy, and Milk and Honey. So you get a lot in there. Plastic Ono Band and Imagine, in my opinion, are amazing albums. Sometime in New York City, which is just, sorry to say it, I love John, but that album is just garbage. Mind Games, a seriously underrated album. I love Mind Games. Everyone always goes to the next album, Walls and Bridges, which is also fantastic. But for me, I love that kind of mellow mood that John was creating on Mind Games. Fantastic record. Now, of course, we get Rock and Roll, covers of late 50s, kind of cheesy, fun songs. And then, of course, we get Double Fantasy and Milk and Honey, which are both fantastic efforts. The only problem is with that, they're half Yoko albums. But other than that, great albums. So anyway, now let's dig into this box. Now then, on the outside, appearance-wise, it very much did replicate the CD box. However, the vinyls are done quite nicely. And if you remember my video on the Cream vinyl box, the Lennon box has done pretty much the exact same thing that the Cream vinyl box done. And they have replicated the originals beautifully, absolutely beautifully. If you're one of these collectors who loves when they buy reissues, for the reissues to look very similar to the originals, this box is going to do you very well. So very nice print on these, I must say. Not looking too blurry, looking very clear. And then inner sleeve, we even have the original inner sleeve in here, of course, with all the lyrics. There we are. So really, really nicely done. And then the record itself, again, replicated the original label there. Very, very nice. Get that to catch the light. Look how nice it is. And I have played Plastic Ono Band. I've had this for about 2 days now. And I don't get time to play my records as much as I used to. But I have played this one. And this sounds amazing. I've never heard this album sound so good. And on my new turntable, my new system, it just sounds fantastic. So anyway. Next one up, of course, is the famous Imagine there. So really nice. I like what they've done here because they've given it a thick spine like the original had. No track listed on the back like the original either. And of course, as we all know, Imagine came with quite a few little things with it. So, first off, we get our 2 postcards. Here's the one of John taking the mick out of Paul McCartney and his Ram album. And then we got a very weird postcard here, which I don't like too much. But we got, I'm not sure what this is. It's a picture of a naked woman and an ape, but they've replaced the faces. On the naked woman, they've put Yoko. Now, of course, we get the poster, which is textured like the original. Same size. It's really well done. So, if we can open it up. There we are. Picture of John on his piano. It does open up again, but there's nothing to see on the next fold out. And then it does have the original inner sleeve here. All the lyrics there on the back. And then the record label, of course. My favourite record label that John done on Apple with his face there in the middle of it. And then there's the other side. So again, so nicely done, really is. So if you're, as I say, if you're a collector who likes your stuff to look like the originals, this is the box for you. So anyway, really nicely done. Just slide these back in. Let's not forget the postcards. Now, I have a very similar copy of Imagine in the Imagine 40th Anniversary box. So it's 2 new nice copies of that I've got now. Along with all my originals, of course. And then here we get Sometime in New York City. Now, this album here, I'm surprised it's got a reissue, if I'm being honest, on vinyl. But hey, vinyl box set of John Lennon, you've got to include it, I guess. But it's not a very good album, this. But there are a couple songs on here which I really like. I like The Luck of the Irish, New York City, and Sunday Bloody Sunday. But, I really can't stand Sisters Oh Sisters. It's a god-awful song. John Sinclair, another awful song there. So it's a very mixed album for me. But, again, it's nice to have a nice, clean-sounding copy of it. So when I want to listen to that, New York City, or, The Luck of the Irish, when I want to listen to one of them tracks, I've got a nice, clean-sounding vinyl copy of it now. There's the inner sleeve. And look at the record label. As you can see there, copied the original again, which is beautifully done. I really like this record label as well, actually. Slide that one back in. And I also really love this inner sleeve here. Really nicely done there, I think. And record label again. Same. So yeah, I mean, this is not a record which I go to very often, but it is very nice to have a nice clean sounding copy of it. And then we get to what I always look at as an overlooked album. I absolutely love this record, and this is fantastic. Mind Games, of course. So this album here has just so many good tracks on, if you ask me. People always go to Walls and Bridges, and don't get me wrong, I love Walls and Bridges, as I've said, but Mind Games get so overlooked, I feel, nowadays anyway. Anyway, original inner sleeve there. Really nice. And then this is beautiful. Beautiful. This really reminds me of the stereo vinyl box set I've got, with the original Apple label there. So well done. So really cool, really cool. Slide that back in. And again, you do have MFP versions of Mind Games and Rock and Roll already out there. And MFP sounds fantastic, but playing these, it's just so nice. I've never heard Lennon songs sound so good. Not even in the CD box, because they're CDs. I am leaning towards CDs a bit more nowadays, because I can put them on my phone. They're so much easier to store and keep. But, you can't beat a good record. And when you put these Lennon vinyls on, these are really as good as it's going to get when it comes to Lennon at the minute. So, any John Lennon fan, it's a must get this box, I'd say. But anyway, next one up, of course, is Walls and Bridges there. And, of course, as I say, replicating the original, it does unfold like that. Be a bit careful with this one. So you get the original little booklet there. Some of John's pictures there from when he was a boy. So really nicely done. And then, of course, original inner sleeve. And that original Apple label there at the centre again. So really nicely done this, I must say. So now, of course, we're on to that rock and roll album now. Actually a pretty good covers album, I must say. It's, you know, I'm not the biggest, you know, I love me some rock and roll music, don't get me wrong. But it's not my favourite Lennon album, there's no denying that. It's a very good covers album, I'd say, compared to other efforts I've heard from other artists. So, slide that one in. So here's Rock and Roll. And, of course, this album here was just always given a plain white sleeve. So I like what they've done here. They haven't just given you one in paper sleeves, which scratches your records. They've actually given you a nice thick one that's actually going to look after the record, which is surprising because a lot of them just tend to give you paper sleeves. But here it is, the last Apple label we're going to see from John. Rock and Roll. Fantastic. It's absolutely amazing how well done this box is, actually, I must say. Slide that one back in. And now, of course, we're on to one of the best albums of the 80s. Double Fantasy here. What a comeback album for John. Every John song on here is amazing. And it has the one Yoko song, I Can Tolerate, which is, I want to make sure I'm not getting the title wrong. I'm Your Angel, I think that's it, but I can't find it on here. Oh, yes, I'm Your Angel, it's called. Sorry, my bad. So, very good album here from John. Again, original inner sleeve there with the lyrics on. And there's the label. So well done. And then, of course, we're on to the last album. And it is the one, the only, it's Milk and Honey there. Really cool. Nice gatefold on this one. And yeah, again, every John song on here is just fantastic. And again, we got the lyrics. And another new label, Polydor. So really cool. So yeah, that's it for the John Lennon vinyl box. It is really just a must get if you ask me. It's a, if you're a Lennon fan, you're going to love it because it's so good because they are replicated to the originals and they sound fantastic. I mean, I've only played Plastic Ono Band so far, but I can just guarantee that the others are going to sound just as good. So I'm absolutely over the moon with this box. It is a fantastic purchase. One of the best things I've decided to buy over the last year. I want to give a shout out to my friend James Larben for helping me find one at an affordable price because it's not cheap. It's not a cheap box. So, you know, he helped me to find this one, so I want to give you a shout out, buddy, so thank you. But, yeah, John Lennon vinyl box. Just doing my thumbnail, guys. But, yeah, if you can get a hold of this, you must do it, because it really, truly is an amazing box. So, anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Whatever gets you through the night.